Hi, my name's Barrie Crampton. Today I'm going to show you around our Volkswagen Golf, then I'll take you for a ride in it. But first I'll tell you a little bit more about it. It's a 2-litre TDI GT with leather, DSG gearbox, 5-door, 2012 on a 12 plate, 1 owner from new and 7 stamps in the service book. It's done 30,456 miles at the moment. Will have done more when I finish this test drive, of course. Fuel economy, urban 42.2 miles per gallon, extra urban 62.8 miles per gallon, and combined is 53.3 miles per gallon. Has a top speed of 129 miles per hour out of 138 brake horsepower, 4-cylinder 16-valve engine. 30,000 miles, 1 owner from new, 7 service stamps, like new inside, couple of age-related marks on the bodywork, but nothing bad at all. It's just a lovely car, drives great as well, automatic gearbox, very, very economical. As I say, lovely condition, a good spec, good colour combination. What's not to like? So we've got central locking, got power folding door mirrors, the multi-spoke VW alloy wheels, and it's got Bridgestone tyres all round, which is always a good indication of somebody looking after the car. Has high pressure headlamp wash, the front parking sensors, chrome VW badges, dechrome, so black window surrounds, rear privacy glass. It's got the glass roof there, integrated tailgate spoiler. That's remote boot release, but it's not power open or power close. You've got the hard rear load cover, independently split 60/40 rear seats, nice big boot here, little bit of a lip to lift over, nice and tidy in the boot too. Reversing sensors there. It's -3 up here this morning. If my GoPros overheat today, I'm going to launch them. Anyway, as I say, lovely in the back here. Rear central armrest. We've got the rear Isofix child seat anchor points. Nice and comfortable. A lot of car seats these days, very low. You do have to put the headrests up a little, otherwise they're right in the middle of your back. But it's so nice in here. This brushed aluminium insets to the dash, gear tunnel, and the door cards. Nice light roof lining. And then you've got the tilt and slide electric glass sunroof there. So nice light and airy inside. Really, really nice car. Okay, I'll just take you for a ride in it. Right, that's the key. Ignition, start the engine. Get the heater on quick. Well, what a beautiful day, it really is. Cold, but beautiful. Right, heated seats on max. Service history, 10th of the 7th 2014, 4,192 miles, CHF Autos. 12th of the 9th 2016, 9,333 miles, CHF Autos. 1st of the 2nd 2018 to 11,108 miles, CHF Autos. 15th of 1st 2019 at 11,884 miles, CHF Autos. 17th of 1st 2020 at 16,642 miles, the General Motor Company, including cam belt and water pump. 18th of the 1st 2021, 19,808 miles, the General Motor Company. 17th of the 1st 2022 at 24,603 miles, the General Motor Company. So great service history, and also what I love to see is a brochure with a car. A lot of thought gone into it. There you go. The original brochure with the car, tells you all about it and all this stuff. It's good to see that on the internet some people are putting brochures on and doing PDFs of brochures, so you can go back in time. And you know, in future, when we were Opel dealers, we had all the brochures from all the cars that we'd ever sold, and always kept a few and put them upstairs in the attic. And then years and years later, when we were no longer selling Opels, we come into contact with a lad from the Opel Club, and he came and he sorted through all our old parts that we'd got, and all the old brochures, and our parts kept some old cars on the road. In fact, we sent a part out to South Africa. Our partsman had ordered some clutch cables wrongly. He'd ordered them for left-hand drive vehicles, and ours was right-hand drive, of course. And instead of sending them back, he just left them upstairs. And Opel contacted us. There was a guy in South Africa who wanted one of these clutch cables, and we posted it out to him. And we didn't just have one of these clutch cables, we had 4. General Motors and no other dealers in the world had them. We had 4. Anyway, another story. Have a swig of tea and get going. The heated seat is absolutely nuclear. I'm just going to turn that down. As you can see, DSG gearbox. The sun's, it's a beautiful day. Lovely clear sky. However, the sun's going to be directly in our eyes, I think. So I might go a different way, otherwise you're not going to see a whole lot. Except glare. That was the headlamp wash, the high pressure headlamp wash. It's just probably splashed all over my cameras. I won't put the visor down because you won't see anything. But I drove this up here this morning. When I come out of the house this morning, it was freezing cold. The car was ice stuck completely. Started first time, and away, drives very, very nice. And this drives how I like cars to drive. You've got everything you need. You've got cruise control in the end here. It's easy to switch on, and you've got Bluetooth hands-free and Bluetooth audio streaming, but all the rest is buttons. I started using a Discovery yesterday, and what I've always said about Land Rovers and Range Rovers is that the designers got the brief to design them for a complete idiot who's wearing gloves. You know, big switches, press buttons and so on. But this Discovery I'm using, it's a lovely car, but it's all touchscreen. And I come out of the house yesterday, the same conditions, had gloves on, couldn't work anything, couldn't switch anything on. So here we've got your temperature gauges and your fan and where it's going, where the air's going. You can see from the button where the air is going to be distributed. You don't have to switch your screen on first. You don't have to wait for it to come out of reverse and show the camera so you can actually mess about with your climate control. You can reverse and move the switches. It's just really how cars should be made and how they should go back to being made. There we go, power folding door mirrors. They're also heated as well. Again, they were iced up this morning. But you turn around to this position, turn the switch around to that position, and that heats the mirrors. Yeah, we've got an automatic gearbox with no paddle shift. When was the last time I used a paddle shift in my car? I can't remember. If you want to, like going down a steep hill like this and you want to use engine braking, you can just move the gear selector across. There you go, move it back towards you. That knocks it down. There you go, that's really slowing us down too much. But we change up. The gearbox is tremendous. Always has the next gear ready for selection. Very, very smooth. The car's economical as well. We're at certain death corner here. Can't hear anything. No, we're all good. Got a van behind us. Golf drive, so good. When the first Golf GTI came out, we had a customer who was a detective in Preston, and he used to get a new car every year, and he came to buy an Astra GTE off us, and he swapped in a MG Maestro that used to talk to you and tell you to put your seatbelt on and stuff like that. That was the cutting edge in those days. I took him out for a drive in a GTE and said to him, you know, how good does this drive? And he said to me, have you ever driven a Golf GTI? He says, because that drives good. And sure enough, when I eventually did drive a Golf GTI, that was the car to judge all others by. But I worked for Volkswagen as well. I always had a diesel as a demonstrator. Really, really economical. Same spec as the petrol car, but a lot more economical. And to be honest, they were a little faster too, if I remember rightly. This is just a lovely car. We've given a fortune for it because it's worth it, and in giving a fortune for it, we've not stuck a load on. We work off very narrow margins, and this is the narrowest we've got on the forecourt, I think. But it was such a lovely car, you know, we couldn't refuse it. And we've got so many big cars, so many big gas guzzlers. And as I've said in videos before, our old customers, these are the sort of things that we used to sell. And it's only because of the space we have now, because we were semi-retiring or retiring, and things haven't quite worked out like that. We've got busier and busier. We decided to get fewer cars, but more expensive ones, and not be as busy. As it turns out, we're selling just as many bigger and more expensive cars as we used to sell smaller ones, but not to our old customers. They're all to new customers. And it's so hard to get a new customer. You spend so much money to get a new customer that you really need to look after them. I'm going to go this way today, because the next time they come and buy a car off you, it hasn't cost you anything. It's just hard work. Well, it's cost a lot, actually. It's a lot of hard work in looking after customers these days. But if they come back and buy a second car off you, that means you've done your job properly. We've had customers that, well, one in particular, absolute gentleman. He must have had 20 cars off us for his whole family and recommended us to a load of people. You know, that's fantastic. And this is the sort of car that somebody who just wants a good, reliable car to last them, and it's had the cam belt done, and it's got everything you want, especially if you just go around town. It doesn't have sat nav. These days your phone has a better sat nav on it. Whenever we go anywhere these days, you know, you've got sat nav in your car. You end up putting it on your iPhone because that's updated every day, whereas your sat nav, 2 years old, 3 years old, the way they're building houses and roads these days and changing them, it's just out of date. So what else have we got? We've got electric windows, so we've got high pressure headlamp wash. It's got a proper handbrake. You know, you can't beat proper handbrakes. Front central armrest, nice and comfortable. These leather sports seats, again, well padded, nice and comfortable, good quality leather, and as far as I know is proper leather, not man-made. People go on about climate change and using leather and stuff, but the man-made stuff, it ends up cracking. You end up throwing the seat away, or fortunately we've got a guy called Martin from Trimline. He comes and repairs them for us, sews a new patch in. But you get leather seats in cars that are 50 and 60 years old, and they're like new. They've never needed a repair. So I often wonder about motives. You know, make the car out of proper stuff, make it repairable, not with replaceable parts, repairable things that you can tinker with and fix. And the whole life cost of the car to the customer and to the planet, I'm sure, has got to be less. It's got to be less with a diesel engine, and these days diesel engines are very, very clean. Coming around my favourite part of this road, really test the steering out. Downhill, front end loaded, a right and then a left turn. Anything on the suspension is going to crack there if it's not right. Slow down over the cattle grid. So the radio, the CD and Bluetooth, hands-free Bluetooth audio streaming, very, very simple to use. Good sound system. The suicidal pheasant there. Looks like somebody's gone off there. Nice and sure-footed. You can feel the road. The power steering isn't too vague. You can feel it. It feels like assisted. Well, it feels like power-assisted steering, not just whip it round with your finger, or city steering as they call it, I suppose now. It's height and reach adjustable. Lever's just there. Cruise control's on the end here. Just knock that on. It's switched on here. That's resume. that the bottom one is set. That's set or reduce your speed. It's all you could need and a good example, and it's a vehicle. I think this now, I see old Golfs going through Matthewson's auction, Bangers and Cash, and they're going for a fortune. A nice low mileage example like this, looked after, and it should really be an investment and not an expense. As I say, the price we're asking, what 30,000 mile car with leather, a great diesel engine, great service history, and this mileage, what you're going to get. Well, I managed to keep us out of the sun there. It was actually probably going to, it was probably too dark going that way. None of my cameras have overheated yet. Brakes are good. No juddering anywhere. It does say it'll need, just go back there, it says it needs a service in 3,500 miles or 49 days. That's set for yearly. So we'll get that done, and there's just nothing to do. Steering's beautiful. Lovely to drive around these country lanes. The only thing about coming this way is it's not the chipping farm shop way. I've just remembered. It's a wonder you can't hear my stomach rumbling. Okay, so I'll finish the test drive there. Lovely car. Thoroughly recommend it. Great car if you want a good, reliable car, economical, well-built car. Then you'll be happy with this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.